What's going on, everyone? It's Isaiah Henry, and welcome back to episode number 3 of the Real Deal Durham Podcast. Yes, so excited. Getting super good feedback from everyone, so I really appreciate that. Again, if you have some comments, you have some questions, you have some feedback, please let your boy know. I'd love to hear it. And again, this podcast is for the community, by the community, so please get involved. I want to hear what everyone's saying. I want to make this the best podcast for everyone here in the Durham region. Again, this podcast is all about empowering you to make the best real estate decisions possible. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to take my experience, my knowledge as an investor and a realtor to help you make the best decisions in real estate possible. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Isaiah Henry, born and raised in the Durham region, born in Pickering. I'm in Whitby now, but I know the area really well. I'm a 6-figure real estate investor specializing in value-added long-distance real estate investing. I'm an author, I'm a speaker, I'm a community-focused real estate agent, and best of all, I'm the host of the Real Deal Durham Podcast. And cool fact about me, I am a CrossFit enthusiast. If you can see, I don't know if you can see this. Oh, I ripped my hand real good at the gym today, so that's, hey, you can't be a CrossFit guy without talking about CrossFit. So yes, that's the fun fact for today, but you guys didn't come to hear about me and my little boo-boos here. You guys came for a podcast, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, welcome back to the Real Deal Durham Podcast. I want to start off with a quick tip, or as David Green would say, quick tip. I'm going to have to figure out my own for that, but that's okay. So quick tip here, set a goal. Determine how much you need to save for a down payment and set a realistic timeline to achieve it. Having a specific goal helps you stay motivated and focused on saving. Not going to lie, that's probably some of the best advice, especially in the kind of market that we're in today. So in Durham, in Ontario, pretty much wherever you're buying real estate, you can buy real estate for as low as 5% down. Now, again, this is great for first-time home buyers, but this is any owner-occupied loan. You don't just have to be a first-time buyer, so something to note there. Now, again, people are going to cry, oh, Isaiah, what about the CMHC insurance? Yes, of course. If you're going to get the 5% down option, it's going to come with some CMHC insurance, but the upside is I don't believe you can outsave your way to avoid CMHC. Like, let's just use easy numbers like $500,000. So if you want to put 5% down, it's $25,000. If you want to put 20% down, that's $100,000. So while you save up $75,000, I'm going to go buy a property with 5% down, and we'll see who comes out ahead there. Again, I'm not knocking the 20% down, but definitely take advantage of the 5% there. Another couple things here. We do have a lot of programs out there to help finance some of these fixer-upper or non-turnkey properties. So if you're buying a property, whether it's a resale or it's your first time purchasing a property, we have tons of financing programs that can, 1, get you in at 5%, and 2, cover a lot of those renovation costs. Like, don't get me wrong, it's hard enough to save up $25,000 in this economy, but then to put renovations into it, where are these people getting this money? I know. But we do have a lot of financing options where we can come in, we can help fund those construction costs, and then we'll refinance when everything's a little bit better to make sure you're protecting your money, protecting your investment, and getting in the property you want. So definitely ask me or send me a DM if you have any questions there. And the final thing, which I'm actually super excited about, I'm going to do some more content about this soon, we'll top up your 20%. Like, I'm not going to loan you any money. This isn't no private loan. This isn't a shark. I don't want repayment. There's no interest. There's no point. Like, I'm literally going to top you up. So let's go back to that $500,000 example. If you're going to bring, $25,000, I'll bring another $75,000 and top you up to that 20%. So 1, you can qualify at that 20. 2, you're not going to pay CMHC. And 3, you're going to get into a property years, like maybe even 5 to 10 years faster if you were to save that extra $75,000. So again, if you have any questions about the construction financing, the top up to 20%, again, it's not a loan. Like, we're literally giving you the money. We'd be happy to answer any questions you have about that. Send me a DM, leave something in the comments, and I'll be happy to get back to you there. I think we have, the team said DM the word goals, GOALS, DM the word goals, put comment the word goals. All right, guys, welcome back to the Real Deal Durham Podcast. I'm going to hit you guys with a little business update. Like I said, I am an investor, I am a realtor, so I'm active in the real estate space. So I just wanted to give a quick update. I think I'm going to flip-flop between market updates and business updates, just so you guys get a good feel of what's going on here. So first thing here into business. I'm finalizing the deal of a lifetime, guys. I don't want to, talk too much on it, knock on wood, praise my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, but I got a good one on the go. I'm super excited to share that with you. I'm just in the closing stages and negotiations with the seller. But yeah, this might be the home run. So I'm very excited about this one. Very blessed to be in a position to kind of deal with that. So more on that soon. Make sure you guys stay tuned there. Second thing, we're ramping up some new social media content. Obviously, the podcast is doing the stuff it's doing there, but we also have some different content ideas we're going to be putting out there. We have some stuff in the community that we're going to be doing, have some different interview style stuff we're going to be doing as well. So stay tuned for that. And if there's anything you guys have ideas or something you guys want to see apart from the podcast, just content wise, let your boy know. I want to see, I want to do this stuff for you to make sure you guys are getting the best out of everything we can do. And finally, we are planning some free events, because who doesn't want some free events? I don't care if you're old, you're young, you got a family, you got kids, you got events for everyone. So the kind of 3 events that I'm noodling right now, we're going to do like a free swim day at one of the local pools. I was a swimmer in a former life, so we can always talk about that later. A movie day, because who doesn't like going to movies? Or maybe like a bunch of jumping castles everyone can, just get in, have a good time there. So noodling those ideas. If you guys like any of those ideas, please let me know so we can get those in operation. Or if you have any other ideas about some community events or stuff that you guys wanted to do in the community, please let me know. I'd love to include them and get in contact with some good people there. And speaking of community, we have a really good, I know I get said every time, but we have a really good community feature, so make sure you stay right to the end, because I want to make sure you guys get all the best from the community feature in this week's episode. Guys, we're episode number 3. This is the Real Deal Durham Podcast, and we'll be right back. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Real Deal Durham Podcast. In today's discussion, we're going to go over a little bit of home renovations. And no, I'm not going to be flipping to another screen where you're going to see me shirt off and overalls, banging nails in one of those kind of videos. It's not that kind of podcast. But what I am going to do is I'm going to break down some home renovations, some tips, some myths, and just my overall feelings of that kind of topic from both a from a seller or owner, and then from a buyer perspective. So hopefully wherever you are in your real estate career, you're going to get some value of that. And again, if you have any questions, don't forget to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. So let's get into it. So first of all, if you're a seller or an owner and you're thinking about renovating a property, first thing you got to consider, it's numbers over emotion. Take that HGTV, take that home and garden television, just, that's the same thing. Or whatever, that living life, I don't know, my mom had those magazines, whatever. Take all those fancy stuff and just put it to a side, because when we're doing renovations, the idea here is to focus on the numbers over emotion. What do I mean by that? You don't want to get carried away with emotions on your renovation, because I'll be honest with you, your taste might not be everyone else's taste. Some people might be into like the granite countertops, some people might be into like really colorful accents, but I'll be honest with you, if you're trying to get the most for your house for like a resale or a refinance, just because you like it doesn't mean a buyer or an appraiser will like it. So that's not usually the best way to go if you're trying to get the most bang for your buck there. What you're trying to do is really make a return on your investment. So any amount of money that you put into it, whether you're renovating, you're upgrading, you're painting, whatever you're doing, the money you put in, you want to try to get as much money out as possible, whether you're selling or refinance, to kind of maximize what you're doing in your renovation. The goal here should be to improve the property's value and maximize your return on investment. Just because you put like some gold handles or you paint the ceiling with like the picture of a polar bear, that might be nice for you, but that doesn't necessarily add value to the property. I'm going to touch on some stuff to add value in a second, but again, that's the kind of mindset you're going to want to have if you're a seller or you're an owner of a property and you're looking to renovate either for a refinance or a sale. And another thing, avoid over renovating. I'm not gonna lie, I've been a little guilty on this on some of my investment properties, and even advising clients early on, I was like, we gotta be the best. We gotta do everything over and above. I wanna be the best in the business. Yeah, the mindset for that is great, but how it actually works out in reality isn't all that great. Like you're not getting so much more money just because you went, 2 or 3 upgrades higher than what the market is. What I always like to do is look at the sold comparables. And I wish I knew this when I was starting out, whether you're an owner or you're a buyer or you're a seller. Look at the comparables out there, and that's what you should kind of govern. If you're going 3-4 steps over what properties are selling for or showing for in your area, you might want to dial it back a bit. But if you're choosing these like laminate flooring, but everyone else is doing like vinyl plank, you might want to turn the juice up on that so that you're matching. So again, you're getting the most return for any of the investment decisions you make. Last but not least on this topic, budget, contingency, reserves. Set a budget for whatever renovation you're trying to do, and please put a contingency in there. I don't know anyone who's done a renovation that has come in on budget for their first budget. It always goes over. So instead of being scared or anxious that it's going to go over, just anticipate for it. Work that contingency into your numbers. Depending on your renovation, I like to put anywhere between a 5% and a 10% contingency on my renovations, just so I got some peace of mind. And hey, if it doesn't go over, I got a little extra money. And again, that's always good, especially in these times. And again, if it does go a little bit over the original budget, I have that contingency set. And then the final thing here, just have reserves. Mindy Jensen from Bigger Pockets has this really great quote, and I always like it. The amount of reserves that you have is inversely related to the problems you're going to have in your renovation. So let's just do this. Let's say you only have $500 in your reserve budget. That's all you got, $500. I guarantee you that problem you're going to have in your renovation is going to be like $3-4 grand, like easy. It's just the way it's going to work. And alternatively, if you have $5,000 set aside in your reserve budget, the only problem you're going to have is like a faulty light cover that's going to cost like $25. It's so weird the way it works, but I always would err on the side of caution, more reserves versus less reserves. So make sure you guys get that in there. Now, I mentioned before about maximizing value, and this is kind of what I want to get in here. So I wrote some stuff down so I didn't forget. I got 5 points for you, so stay with me here. It's going to be boosting curb appeal, upgrade your bathrooms, upgrade your kitchens, laundry room, and then some miscellaneous items, but I'll break it down for you. So first thing, boost curb appeal. When you're broke, like me, when I started, this was all I had. When I had like the rentals or the first couple listings I was looking at, I'm like, okay, I don't have a lot of money. What can I do, or what can I tell my client to really like boost the curb appeal? First thing, mulch your garden. Don't worry about all these crazy garden beds. You can just go to Home Depot, go to whatever like landscape garden store that's close to you and get a whole bunch of mulch. I like black mulch because it's nice to cover everything, and you just spread that mulch over everything. It's going to cover weeds, it's going to cover bud, shrubbery, and you can make the outside of your property look really good at a really inexpensive cost. And again, you can do this yourself. You can hire some high school kids, or even if you hire like a general landscaper, they should be able to do this no problem. So I'm a big fan of the mulch in the garden. Something that, again, is really easy is just freshly cut your grass. Now, you don't have to be like some of those crazy John Deere commercials with the cross cut and the grading and stuff like that. But honestly, if your lawn is consistently cut all the time and it looks really good whenever you're showing it, or it's getting ready for a refinance, it's going to show well, because I think the way, I think the saying is the way you do anything is the way you do everything. So if someone pulls up to your property, it's got a fresh cut lawn, the garden's all mulched, they're looking at it, wow, they take care of this property. And they're probably going to go in not looking to see any like little nicks or missing baseboards or paint chips. So they're not going to really think that, because they've already got the idea walking in that you take care of your property, and they're putting your property a little bit higher in their mind there. So it's a little bit of a mind game that you can play on the way in. And then the last thing here, if you're looking for like a big ROI number from the exterior, change your garage door. I looked at the stats and it literally blew me away. But if you change your garage door, it's like 133% return on investment. So again, you spend $100 bucks, you're gonna get $133 back just because you upgraded your garage door. I don't know, those are what the numbers say, but I will be honest with you. If I see like a really nice garage door, especially some of those modern ones, I definitely do stroke my chin and be like, yo, that house might be a good one. I definitely want to go see that. So if you're looking for some ways to boost curb appeal, go give those a try. Now again, let's jump to the bathrooms. That one's pretty easy. You spend a lot of time in the bathroom. Like first thing you do when you wake up, usually the last thing you do before you go to sleep, you're in the bathroom a lot. Hopefully not more than you need to, or you might need to see a doctor. But again, that's not the point of this here. So if you're going to upgrade your bathrooms, again, I would go through some of the simple, timeless upgrades. Maybe a nice luxury vinyl plank. If you have the money, go for some tile floors. I wouldn't go crazy on the fixtures there, but I would just see what the market's doing. Like I said earlier, whatever the bathrooms that you're seeing in some of these sold properties, just match it. You can literally take these pictures to Home Depot or take them to your contractor, and they'll know exactly what to do to give you the bathroom product that you're looking for. Now for the kitchen. If you're not in the kitchen, most people are going to be in the bathroom. Have you guys ever been to those parties? The party's hot, they got the basement going, they got all the chips and snacks in the backyard, but where does everyone always end up? In the kitchen. I don't know if it's just because that's where the food happens, or just like that's the heartbeat of the house. But whatever you do, whether you're an owner of a property, you're buying a property, you're selling a property, make sure to focus on the kitchen. Now, I'm not going to give you the basic, upgrade the kitchen, make it look nice. I'm going to give you some actual tactical advice how to make sure you really upgrade that kitchen. First thing, kitchen islands. I know it's interesting. Like a lot of people, they see the island and they know they're good, but it's not something that they think to add or think to look for. So if you're looking at all the sold comparables or looking at some of the data for designs coming out, kitchen islands are actually a huge selling feature and really boost the value of your home. So if you don't have one, consider adding one. And if you do have one, consider upgrading it to give it a little bit more modern taste. Another thing that's looking really good is these walk-in pantries, similar to like walk-in closets in the bedroom. When you have that walk-in pantry, it just gives that home like a luxury feel. It's a nice homey luxury feel. You walk in, you can see your spices, like all your pantry items, and it looks good. And it's like closed off from the kitchen and gives that more elevated or upgraded lifestyle in that property. And the final thing, shout out to Property Hustlers for this one, it's a pot filler. It's super simple to install. It's literally just a water line running over top of your stove so you can fill a pot right over the stove. It's so simple, but it's so elegant. Like it literally separates your house. You could have two houses with very similar upgrades. One house has a pot filler and the other doesn't. You're gonna be like, wow, that's the kind of finishes that I'm looking for. And it's actually helpful. Like, I don't know if you ever had a property with that pot filler, but add it one time and it's like a heated steering wheel. You can't do without it. So again, kitchen islands, walk-in pantries, and add that pot filler for those real big upgrades. Moving on here to your laundry room. Bigger is always better here. If you can get a bigger laundry room that people can fold clothes and get in there comfortably, it's not like this unfinished dungeon that people are scared to like wash their clothes. If you can get a nice lighting, nice flooring, and put a couple upgraded appliances in there, that can really raise the value of your property there. Because a lot of people do laundry at home. Like, that's not a thing a lot of people are outsourcing. So if you can put that in there, you can really visualize, a buyer or an appraiser can really visualize someone living there. It's a nice open space. It's well lit, has good appliances in there. So definitely something that goes under the radar a lot of the time. So make sure you're focusing on your laundry room. And finally, just some miscellaneous items. A lot of people just forget this or overlook at this, but these are some easy things you can do to make sure you boost your curb appeal. 1, deep cleaning. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm not gonna do any cleaning because I'm the worst cleaner. Ask my mom, I can't clean for nothing. But again, either you're gonna clean, you hire a top-notch cleaning company and they come in and they actually give it a good scrub. You'd be surprised what a nice, thorough clean can do for a property versus diving into some of these renovations that you might not have needed to do. You might not need to replace this thing. You might just need to give it a good clean. And these are some of the things I like to think about when I'm trying to upgrade my property and not over renovate. Another thing, fresh paint. That's like the easiest thing to revitalize a property. I don't care if it's a new rental, it's a new property. You slap a fresh coat of paint across the entire house and whoo, it pops. And you get that smell of fresh paint too, which is great with buyers or renters coming in. It just shows that you've done the effort or taken the time to upgrade that property and they really appreciate it. Like I mentioned in the laundry room, upgrade your appliances, guys. Like it's 2023. Like nobody wants those 1970s appliances that are making noise and gyrating, moving and shaking because they're about to be on their last light. Take your time, take some money, go upgrade your appliances. There's tons of discount appliance stores that have like really high quality products that are refurb, scratch and dent, but are more up to the 2023 standards. I got a couple here in Durham Region that I like to work with and a couple others with my long distance portfolio, but make sure you're upgrading those appliances to get the best look for your property that you can. And finally, this one's super easy, but it's like way overlooked. Just recaulk everything and pause, relax, but like recaulk like in the bathroom and stuff like that. Anytime I get a new rental or anytime like I'm talking with a client, first thing I do when I go in the bathroom, clean the grout lines and recaulk everything. It doesn't cost that much, but it gives such a luxury feel to walk into a bathroom or a kitchen or even a different area of your home that's like freshly, like all the grout lines are clean, everything's newly caulked. It just gives it a really good looking there. So again, those are the 5 things that I really think upgrade your home there. And definitely take a look. I think those are some amazing options there. But before I move on, let me talk to the buyers for a second, because buyers are going to do the same thing. They're not necessarily upgrading their own homes, but they're definitely getting involved. So first thing for the buyers, they're kind of looking at stuff from like a different lens. When you're a seller, you're looking all about, how do I get the most money for my rental? How do I get the most money when I sell my property? But for a buyer, you're walking into the property on the other side. How do I get into this property and not walk myself into a money pit? So these are kind of some of the tips I have here. You're focusing on the least glamorous aspects of the property. Again, sellers are over here, they're looking at fresh bathrooms, new laundry room, flooring, paint, appliances, pot fillers, all that good stuff. But as a buyer on this side, you're looking to make sure this property doesn't fall apart and just like kind of crumble in your hands. You're looking at the roof, the foundation, HVAC, concrete, plumbing, electrical, all those big, non-sexy items that actually are the backbone for the property. Because if those are no good, just forget it. Who cares about paint, flooring, and new baseboards? Like, it doesn't matter. If you got a fuse box that's about to set the house on fire, just walk away. I don't care if they got a fresh kitchen in there. If this thing's going to go up in flames in the next 2 weeks, like it's not a good buy for me. So those are the things you want to look for, especially as a buyer. Some things that I like to do, or they're actually kind of policies in my business, and I encourage all my clients to do the same. you gotta get a home inspector, or at the very least, have a qualified contractor walk through that. They're gonna see things that you don't. Like again, I'm a real estate professional. I'm very good with the numbers. I'm very good with the buyers, the sellers, the investments, but I'm not a home inspector. I can't like rip apart a furnace and tell you what's going on. I can't rip apart an electrical system and tell you what's going on. So when you work with people who have a solid team around them, you can like leverage their resources and make sure you have all the information as a buyer to make the best decisions possible. So make sure you're working with a home inspector, or at very least a qualified contractor. Like I said, these aren't the most exciting parts of the property, but what is exciting is not walking into a property that's leaking from the foundation, leaking from the roof, the electrical boxes sparking when you guys are having like Sunday dinner. Those are things not to get excited about. So definitely want to make sure you kind of look at these things before you get into a property. It's essential here that if you're looking at a property and the roof's gone, the electrical has to go, HVAC needs to be replaced, it's going to blow your budget right away. I don't care if you budgeted for renovations and had a contingency. If you have 3 or 4 of these major systems are about to go either now or in the very near future, I highly suggest this might not be the property for you, or you want to make sure that you're getting considerable concessions from the seller to kind of cover the cost of these repairs there. But again, if you have any questions about this as a buyer, please feel free to DM me, leave me a comment. I'd love to help you out. Oh, shoot. What I also did for all of you guys, all my community there, I have a free rehab estimator. It's I'll put the link down here in the description if you're on YouTube. If you're listening to it, I'll put the link in the show notes. And if you see this on Instagram, just jump in my bio. I have a free rehab estimator. Jump in there, square footage. It kind of tells you the high, low, and the average. It's a great place to get started. Now, again, this isn't like a be all and end all. This is exactly your renovation budget, but it gives you a great idea to see if you're a owner or a seller, is this going to be a good return on my investment for the property price that I hope to sell? And if you're a buyer, is this going to be a renovation budget that I'm comfortable with going in given the purchase price? So it kind of gives you a great place to start. And again, we can always communicate with that and see where you really lie with everything there. So I hope that helps. Buyer, seller, owner, renter, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure you know about your home renovations, how to 1, get the most for your property if you're selling, and 2, how to make sure you don't spend the most if you're buying your property. Guys, it's Isaiah Henry. It's the Real Deal Durham Podcast, and we will be right back. All right, guys, welcome back to the Real Deal Durham Podcast. I'm your host, Isaiah Henry. And guys, oh my gosh, we're here. It's the in the community section. I get super excited about this every week, but I am just fired up again. Super big with the community. I came from policing. I love the community policing model. I'm taking that model and bringing it to real estate. So yes, in the community section, I'm super excited here. So who we have today is great. So she's a lovely lady. I don't want to call her a lady. She's a lovely woman. Whatever the correct term is, she is just lovely. I love what she's doing as a person. I love what she's doing business-wise. She just recently got engaged, so she's just glowing like left, right, and center. So good for her. I'm talking about Sarah DeFoa Photography. And she's the one who actually did my headshots. So she took this ugly mug and made it look real good. I know you've seen some of those headshots out there. You're like, who is this guy? Yeah, that's all Sarah. So super excited to kind of feature her on the podcast there. She is on social media. You can find her on Instagram at Sarah DeFoa Photo and on Facebook as the same. Again, I'll make sure I tag all those links in there so you can find her there and use her services. Now, guys, she's a talented photographer. She's capturing the most cherished moments in life. I wrote this down so I didn't mess it up. She's located in the Durham region, but she services all over Southern Ontario. When I was talking to her, sometimes she's in like Windsor and then she's in Belleville, so she'll travel, which is great. But again, her core is here in the Durham region. She's your go-to photographer if you're a couple, you're a professional, family. If you're looking to kind of preserve those moments in life or highlight the ones that you're experiencing right now, give Sarah a call. She's definitely the one for you, and it's just a great experience working with her. She does specialize in wedding photography, headshots, and family portraits, but any project you put her way, she's willing to work with you to kind of get something off the ground there. She's extraordinary. She has an amazing knack for bringing out the true essence of every subject that she captures, including myself. Now, let me tell you kind of like my experience with her. So when I was, getting into the real estate business, to be honest, I didn't want a headshot. I was like, oh, okay, it's whatever. I wear gym clothes all the time. Like, I don't need anything. But as I got a little bit more experience, I'm like, okay, I probably need that professional approach. So I gave her a call, we kind of connected, and I had no idea. I had like one white shirt and a suit jacket, that's all I brought. And she just took her time, she put me in all these like different poses and all these different backgrounds. She had a few props, and she just like was going crazy with her photos, had me leaning forward, smiling, doing all this stuff, and it was good. I was having a good time. We even went outside for some, which was like really cool as well. And I was not gonna lie, I was nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't know how this is gonna turn out. She sent me back like 50 photos, and I was like, what? how was that even me? Like beard was looking good, sun was hitting me, arms were looking jacked. Like there's no question, she did like a phenomenal job, and I'm super excited to have her here. So again, guys, if you're looking for Sarah, you want to connect, you want to use some of her services, you want to just support her, and please go give her a follow and support her and all that she's doing there. She is on Instagram at Sarah DeFoa Photo. She's on Facebook at the same. I'll make sure to I'll put it in the show notes on all audio platforms. It'll be on YouTube, and you can definitely check her out on Instagram as well. This is a special thank you to Sarah. Thanks for letting us feature you on the Real Deal Durham Podcast. You're doing a great job for the community, so keep doing your thing, girl. We really appreciate it. Guys, it's the Real Deal Durham Podcast. It's Isaiah Henry. We'll be right back. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our question and answer section. So shout out to all y'all in my Instagram DMs, because this is where this question came from. So guys, if you have questions, don't be shy. Get in the Instagram, put in the comments. I want to hear your questions so we can feature you on the podcast here. But let's dive into this question. All right. So it reads, need some advice here, Isaiah. I plan to sell this 50-year-old house which has red vinyl siding. Interesting. Should I change it to stucco to get a better price, or should I leave it like this and sell? So first of all, thanks, brother, for asking me about the listing. I appreciate that. But let's get into your actual question. So first thing, the cost effectiveness of vinyl siding. So vinyl siding, it's super cost effective compared to like other options. Like stuccoing your building is kind of expensive. If you want to go like masonry brick, like that's also expensive if it's not already there. So vinyl siding definitely going to be one of your most cost effective options. It's inexpensive to install, which makes it an attractive choice. That's why you see it so much around. You can see that combination of brick or mason siding, and then it goes to vinyl siding there. But again, super expensive. I have it on a couple of my own properties in my portfolio, and I see it with a lot of clients here in Durham. So one thing to consider here is the resale considerations. Now, again, like we said with all the renovation topics earlier in the podcast, it's important to understand the return on investment when we're calculating whether to do a renovation or just kind of sell it as is. Now, vinyl siding actually recoups about 89% of its installation cost when selling a home, which is actually pretty good. I say if you can get anything over 70% when you're doing any sort of renovation, I think you're in good shape there, especially if you're selling a house there. So at 89%, almost 90%, I think that's really good. And I don't know if I would actually go the way to kind of take it all off, put the stucco up, but I'll kind of give my recommendation at the end. Another thing that you want to kind of consider with vinyl siding, extreme cold, which we unfortunately get here in Canada, does make vinyl like really brittle and kind of can be exposed to cracking, especially if it's old. Stucco is a better alternative for this because it's actually on the building. It doesn't really respond to the cold in the same way. But at the same time, we're in Canada. We get that hot, we get that cold, we get that hot, we get that cold. So I think you have to weigh whether it's more important to you as a long-time user versus the value you're going to get on a resale. Another thing here that I mentioned, but I just wanted to touch on one more time, is the low maintenance of vinyl siding. Like, it's super easy to clean. Everyone knows vinyl siding for low maintenance. Like, how many times have you been out and said, oh, I gotta maintain my vinyl siding today or this weekend? Never. You never hear that. You throw it on once and you don't talk about it for the next 10 to 15 years. So it's really good because it's a low maintenance product. Now, the drawbacks here that I wanted to highlight with vinyl siding. If your vinyl siding gets damaged, it's kind of hard to replace because over time, like, the sun's going to hit it, the weather's going to hit it, and the vinyl siding, the color is going to fade. And obviously you don't have like faded pieces that you can just reinstall. So if you're going to install a new piece, it's going to be so obvious. You're like, oh, like that was a big hole, or that's a fresh siding there. So that's kind of a disadvantage when you do that. But something that I found, working with other investors, clients, and sellers, that in the area, there's some kind of ways to hide it. So if you have the front of the property, facing the street, which is like all the curb appeal, if you have some pieces that are broken or damaged, what you can do is you can swap them out with pieces that are located at the back of the property or at the side and the corners. The side, corners, and back don't get looked at as much. Obviously, if it's a lot, you might have to think about doing the whole thing. But if it's just a couple pieces here and there, it might be beneficial to take some from the back, take some from the bottom or the side, and add that to the front so you can maintain that good curb appeal. So, I guess you want to know about my recommendations. If I'm being honest, I would say no. I wouldn't go the point of taking down all the vinyl siding and then putting up stucco. I just don't think you're going to get your money back there. The return on investment in terms of time, money, and materials that you're actually going to put into this, I don't believe you're going to get it back even pulling some comps in the area over the last like 180 days, I didn't see a massive difference in vinyl versus stucco siding on the exact same type of property, especially if you're gonna have to do it all brand new and then sell it, you don't even get to enjoy it. You gotta remember here the opportunity cost, the return on investment, and the other thing is you're gonna open a can of worms. If you're gonna strip off all the siding from your house, you can't unsee what you see. And I'm not saying like you're trying to hide problems, but I sometimes just don't like to open up a can of worms unless I'm ready for that can of worms. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Once you take off that stucco from the siding, you're in for a ride. So you want to make sure you know what you're getting into there. So again, my overall recommendation, I would say no. I think if we put on a nice listing, we market the property well, we make sure it has all the features, interior and exterior is maintained in a way that's satisfying to a buyer, I think we can get as much money out for the properties you're looking for and get a top quality listing there. So yes, we'll be in touch and we'll make sure we get that going there. Guys, it's the Real Deal Durham Podcast. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to DM me, comment, leave out all their information below. I'd love to have your question featured on the podcast. We'll be right back, guys. Guys, welcome back, and we did it. Episode 3 in the books for the Real Deal Durham Podcast. Thanks so much for joining with me. I know I went a little bit longer on this one, but guys, I had some great information. Just wanted to make sure we got it all out for you there. So thanks for watching. If you are on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Love to hear it out there. And if you're on Spotify, leave that 5-star review for your boy. But please be easy on him. These times with tough interest rates and property prices are going crazy. I can't take too much hard feedback as well. It hurt my feelings. No, I'm playing. But again, say it with your chest. If you have something to say, let me know. I love the feedback. This podcast is for the community, by the community. So I want to make sure I'm giving the most to you guys and everything that you guys want to see in the podcast. I'm kind of putting it in there. So don't be shy there. If you're a Durham business, entrepreneur, solopreneur, side hustler, or whatever you are, I want to feature you on the podcast. If you know anyone, send a DM and make sure they can get in contact with me and we'll put them on there. Don't forget to get a copy of our free neighborhood price guide. We update that every single month, kind of keeps you updated with what's going on with the Durham region there. And if you know someone who's looking to buy or sell a house in the Durham region or in the GTA, I'd love to help them out there. And finally, it's Isaiah Henry, your favorite Durham community-focused realtor. And this has been the Real Deal Durham Podcast. I will see you all on the next episode. Peace!